Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the commodities update video. And today we'll be doing technical analysis on natural gas, UNG, as well as oil, the US dollar, gold, and silver. So we'll be looking at their technical analysis, resistance levels, support and resistance levels. To get the most likely scenario, we're probably heading into tomorrow as well as later next week. And natural gas, getting interesting. So we had that pop on Wednesday while I was filming the video here, and currently we're back testing the EMA 12, and so we'll see if we can get over that or not. And if you guys like the video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, as well as I'm doing a free 15-minute call, and on the link below on the calendar, make sure to check it out if you guys want a 15-minute call to better understand if you guys can improve your tradings or for any mentorship or anything like that. All right, let's get started. So after this big move up, we had a decent pullback and roughly close to a little bit over 50%. So right now it's not really favoring anybody. If we had a shallow pullback, which is to 0.382, then it would favor the bulls a little bit more. But we did have a decent enough bounce where now we're potentially, if we break above this top 1.78, then that'll be a good sign for the bulls. Because the last thing we want is to have a big bounce and then just give it all back. And so we want to see some trend changes going on. And let's see if we can get a daily trend change going. So currently we're still under the daily EMA 12, which is a teal looking line. But we are over the 4-hour EMA 12, which is, you can see on the way down, it was acting as strong resistance. You can see resistance, 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 and finally gotten over it. So I want to see it act as support on the way up. So we did slightly break through it, but we ended up closing above it. So that's good, but I want to see more follow through when we close above it. So let's say we continue to move up, and I want to see that EMA trend with it and act as support every time we bounce off of it. Same thing went over here. Every time it trends down, it acts as resistance every time we hit on it. So that's what I want to see. But so far it's quite early still from this bounce. And this could just as well roll over, and that will be the end of the move. Maybe we'll form a big equilibrium before we go back up. That could be a case as well. Big move up, big move down, and then we tighten up, gets tighter and tighter, and then we break above. So that could be a scenario as well. So this stage is still quite early to see whether we're going to just go up and a little bit higher with the EMAs, or we're going to form some pattern before we head up. So let's take a look at the 6-hour. I do like the 6-hour as slightly a little bit more. It's a little bit more clear on some of the rejections here, but 4-hour was more clear on this section. 6-hour is a little bit more clear on this section. But 4-hour, 6-hour, similar idea. As long as it gets over, we close above it, and as long as we trend with it, that's fine. We'll see. Tomorrow is quite key whether we break this top from yesterday, where we couldn't get over it for many hours, popping out here, or we might reject from the bottom of that sideways section, right? See, we're coming up here right now, and we just pretty much touched it. And if we close lower than that, that means it's a rejection from this bottom resistance section. But if we can break above that, that's a very good sign. All right, let's take a look at UNG. So UNG is the tradable ticker for natural gas. And so UNG, I like the 8-hour EMA 12. Rejection, 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 rejection. Big move up above it, back tested it. So far we bounced. That is a good sign as well. So both natural gas and UNG, we back tested and bounced. Although UNG wasn't as clean, you can see the 4-hour did break through it, and we're below it, right? So it wasn't as clean of a back test. But UNG was pretty clean. We never closed below it, and it's on the 8-hour. Currently above it, so let's see if bulls can actually hold this time for once. Tough to say, but we'll see, right? If we bounce tomorrow and this EMA 12 starts trending up, hopefully acts as support. We may form something closer to a bull flag here. Let's see. With the top of move. Oh, no bull flag here because we already broke the 0.382. But we had to be above this yellow box retracement for a bull flag. But we retraced a little bit more than that. We retraced 50% of the bounce. But as long as it's above 50%, it's okay. Because if we break below the 50% mark, it's going to start favoring the bears. So we'll see if we can tighten up here a little bit. Same thing. The idea of a bull flag is just a shallow retracement and then we break above. But if we tighten up here and then we can break above as well. Or we just straight up break above it. Or we tighten up, over up on Monday. So as long as we stay above AR EMA 12, I think we'll be okay. So, but yeah, we are, let's see how many percent away from it. We're about 2.5% away from it. So we got a little bit of support, a little bit of room to work with before testing the area. 15 minutes, decent bounce. I did add a little bit down here. Once we broke, I added boil, so that's a 2x leverage for UNG. So when we retraced this move today, I was looking for a small position entry because we're still quite early on the longer term time frames overall. So I don't want to be too aggressive. But we had a double bottom here. We tested in the morning, and then we bounced, and then tried again, broke above, and it flushed. And that's when we had that double bottom. You can see right there on this one as well, this wick. And then there's no more follow through from the bears. So that's when I in that position. I added a small position over here once we broke out of this tiny range to 15.72 on boil, which was closer to here. And yeah, I'm just holding it. And if we come back down, break the AR EMA 12, I'm going to stop out because I don't want to hold, just go lower and lower and lower if we break below the AR EMA 12 again. But if not, if we continue to stay above it, I will just hold that position and potentially add more if we start shaping up a little bit more structure on the daily chart. Currently, there is zero structure on the daily chart. That's why I only added a starter position, which is small. Unless, if we bounce back above now and then form a daily trend change, form some support along the way, kind of like something like this, where there is support sideways action for a clear level to play off of. For example, over here, right, you can see there's a quadruple top resistance, and you can see every time we're making higher low, every low is higher, then we have a clear level to play off of, right? We can add and then set your stop loss below the prior higher low over here, and then wait for the breakout above this triple top, and then add even more, right? So I want to see something like that eventually shape up over here to play off of for more position. But for now, I just added a starter position to just anticipate that hour EMA break and back test here. So we back tested closer here in the morning, and we got that double bottom at the same time. That's why I added a little bit. There's a couple of confluence of signals there, and stop loss below here. So if we break that, I'm out. All right, let's take a look at oil. So if you guys want to learn anything more about how to trade, make sure to schedule that 15-minute call. It's for free, and let's keep going on oil. So oil, so it did break above this top that we've been looking at, but we're still kind of closed, almost back below here again. So not really convincing for me, unless tomorrow we close around here again. That would be a potential break. When you want to break out, you want something, you want a big move on it, essentially. You don't want it to finally break above a resistance, right? Where we're trying to break out for a very long time, and then it just comes up, and then you close at the lower range of the day. So although it's not the lower range of the day, it's close to the middle, but you get the idea of where we break out and there's not much follow through. So that's the last thing we want to see when we have a breakout. So I would say it's very indecision here today. This breakout, we broke above and then we came to the exact middle. So it's kind of indecision between bulls and bears at this moment. See if there's more clues on the shorter term time frame. Yeah, breakout in the morning and then trend lowered into the day. This could still be just a 15-minute higher low. If we bounce exactly from here and head up higher, then that's no red flags. But if we start to retrace a lot more of that bounce, we start to break below this 50% mark on this bounce, then it's going to start to shape up a red flag. So let's say we come back below here, 73.28, and it's going to start favoring the bear on the next bounce. But if we do hold above this 73.48, comes down here, and then we bounce, and it's a good sign for the bulls. We'll see about that tomorrow, if we're going to hold those levels and bounce. All right, US dollar. Okay, so pretty much hit exactly my support, this mirror looking line. Support all the way along here 4 times. Act as resistance over here twice when we're below it. And now price is above it, so price will act as support. And here today, exactly, and bounced. On the 5 minutes, let's see. Got down there and then V-shaped. Yeah, you can see how fast it bounced when we got to that level. Maybe we'll form a potential inverse head and shoulders here. So left shoulder, head, and then right shoulder. So that's a bullish pattern if it forms and we break above the neckline, which is closer to this blue looking line, and we may head higher for the dollar. Inverse head and shoulders, and then the neckline is close to here. Break above that. It's a confirmed inverse head and shoulders. Actually, that's just a downtrend, V-shape into an uptrend if it confirms. So we'll see if that happens. First, get over this 104.16 resistance first. That's a bit choppy for the dollar. I mean, dollar is always choppy, but so we'll see if that ends up forming. All right, let's take a look at gold. Gold actually holding pretty decent today, and despite the dollar bouncing, correlation isn't as strong lately between the dollar and gold. This correlation always changes over time, so we have to keep on watch for that. And we pretty much still not over this black line. You can see it's acting as support all the way up here. Support, 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 support. We're just testing here 3 times resistance so far. Can't get over here because the price is below that, so we're acting as resistance. And maybe it's probably going to go sideways a little bit first, and then try to break above that. Still pretty much just indecision candles for the last 2 days, last 3 days actually, pretty much. So not much going on here. If we can't break above this black looking line, we're going to stay under it. And if we do pull back, I'm looking at this 2004 level that for a stronger level support. If we do pull back, and if we bounce, we're probably going to test this black line again. All right, just look at silver. Silver a lot weaker than gold for sure. Been pulling back for the last 4 days, and we're getting pretty close to support again. So we're probably going to bounce from, let's see, why is this line? I'm just going to delete that. If you do come down, and I'll probably be looking to see if silver will bounce from closer to this 22.46 line, which is the wedge support as well, because it was acting as resistance, 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 resistance. Finally broke above it. If we do back test it, it will likely act as support. We do come back all the way down there to back test, and we'll bounce from there. We'll see if that happens tomorrow. If not, then it's good. And we don't back test there, because if we do back test there, we are pretty much retracing 70% of the move. So that's not a good sign if we go all the way back there. Price looking like a 50% of the retrace. So far it's still good enough. As long as we bounce here, bulls are okay. All right, let's take off you guys for commodities, and I will probably do one over the weekend on Saturday. So I'll see you guys then. And yeah, have a great rest of you guys' week.